Hey, what's up, YouTube? With your boy, man, Diesel. Welcome to the Money Room. We're live. Welcome you all. Today, I have with me, as usual, my co-host, I2B in the house.
What up? What up? What up?
And we're going to talk to you about a recent phenomenon. I'm not going to say recent, but it's been happening for a while recently. And pretty much, I'm sure you've seen major corporations and businesses, multi-million, some in the billions, have been shutting down. All of a sudden, big names that you've known since you were a child, childhood name known businesses, are all of a sudden evaporating into thin air. What's happened? Is it the economy? Is it the way consumers are buying stuff now? What's going on, right?
Yeah. I woke up into the world of entrepreneurship with that. Sadly, it's real. But the reason why I like to bring it up is often when I talk to people, new entrepreneurs, they tend to think that they figured it out. Maybe not necessarily like that. They wouldn't admit to that, right? But they would. Oh, you know what? Can you hear me better?
Yeah, I hear you better.
All right.
You're talking to the sky.
Yeah, I was talking to the sky. So they offer because I was that guy back in 2004, 5, 6. I was so excited about entrepreneurship, right? You couldn't tell me nothing. Like everyone should be building a business and that's it, right? And and then I woke up to Bear Stearns shutting down, multi-billion-dollar company. Lehman Brothers shut down, multi-billion-dollar company. Now,
Yep.
when that was happening, I didn't realize how close to my income that was. I didn't realize that at first. As a matter of fact, I had not heard the word recession before that time. You know,
That's why
so
I was giving that warning about Facebook. No one's saying Facebook's going to shut. We did Facebook. If you guys, by the way, haven't seen the Facebook episode we discussed a couple of weeks ago,
right,
or last week,
right.
go check it out. But that's why I was giving that
We
heads up
should
about
touch on
Facebook.
and we should touch on that. But because of the experience with time now, there's some things that are evergreen. Like for example, this topic, multi-billion-dollar company shutting down, is evergreen. That's gonna happen, by the way. And Facebook is not necessarily immune against that. It's just that I can
That's right.
see how far they are off, though. I can see
Even
that.
if the Titanic, even the Titanic, had a day where it sank. So at the end of the day, people got, you gotta be, no matter how big a corporation is, anything can happen. Now I'm not saying that this is gonna happen to Facebook. I'm a believer on Facebook, right? Long term, as long as they adhere to the regulations here and there, things don't get too crazy. But the thing is, it could affect Facebook growth. Let's say Facebook was on track to grow this fast. Zuckerberg was on track to be a trillionaire very soon. If they start imposing all kinds of regulations on him
Yeah,
and how he generates income, it could affect that long term. So
absolutely.
I'm not saying that Facebook's going to be a sell, Facebook's going to be a dud, but I'm saying that it might not grow as fast as it was expected to grow. But that being said, we'll see what happens. Because even though, say for example, I'm an investor and I see Facebook was able to weather the storm, that gives you even more confidence in Facebook. So it could actually be an accelerant to Facebook growth, depending on how you don't think about it. If I was in Zuckerberg's shoes, that's how I like to think about it. Because as an entrepreneur, not to be a stupid, but you want to have a very optimistic mindset. So even if you go through a storm, you gotta keep your eye on the price and say, "Fuck this! I'm gonna use this to make even more." All right. So I'm just
Absolutely. In fact, in my opinion, the bigger the company is, the more careful they have to be, and the more effect any move. Like for example, you can literally see visually on the charts how this news has affected Facebook. That means Zuckerberg himself can feel it. Like he can feel it in terms of millions. You know, how much like we can't like over long time we still believe in it. But I'm just saying if you can see it, if it's that visual, like you can see it on the graph when it tanks, like every news as it affects, then
I was looking at
everybody
the stock the other day. Let me see what the stock is doing. Yeah, keep on listening.
yeah, everybody it simply means everybody needs to be careful. Even for us small guys, right? We can't see the effect of the market on our income as fast, you know, but like corporations can see, corporations can see, and multi-billion dollars corporations can see it, just that easy. So I always like to point it out to people, or new entrepreneurs. There are people that there are people that think every time they just spend $50 here on this tool, they spend $30 on that tool. They say, oh, it's just $30. No, it's not just $30, bro.
Everything adds up.
Everything adds up.
It
You
all
need to
adds
be
up.
careful. Of
Which
course,
goes back
can't
to our
feel it.
budget episode. Go to budget episode. Everything adds up.
Everything adds up, right? So you if you think that $2 per month on that little tool, for us on the internet, we're internet marketing stuff, there's always another guru selling another tool here and there that's going to make your life easier, faster, and simpler, right? And if you don't pay attention, you're going to buy a bunch of tools that are useless, and those $2 add up to $100 a month. And then think about the compounding effect of you spending $100 per month that you don't have. Think about that in terms of the $1 billion companies. See, every little shake or move in the marketplace affects them significantly. And the bigger they are, the more they have to be careful. And yeah, sadly, anytime you see a CEO, I mentioned a CEO of Volkswagen stepping down, right? Anytime you see that happen, that's what do you call it in the backyard? There's a way they say it, like there's anyway, I'll remember later. But the point is that there's a problem somewhere. CEOs just don't step down.
Yeah, I just to add to that before I go off a little bit. Also, in my experience too, sometimes people ask me for mentorship and all that kind of stuff, and it's always good to give people your experience, give them your knowledge, and teach them that kind of stuff. But at the same time, you also have to be careful. Even as a mentor, you don't want to project. Or you teach someone, you don't want to project. So now, when I say you
don't want to project your fear, right?
Yeah, you don't want to project your fears or your insecurities on somebody else. Absolutely. And like say what you say, you had some bad experiences here and there. Lessons learned. You could teach people that stuff on how to go through those kind of emotions. But I've seen a lot of people who I was talking to this guy recently who does real estate. The guy's probably like 60, 70, and all he had was like bad stories. Like he looked miserable. But and I'm like, dude, that's cool.
Right.
Because that's what you experience. Doesn't mean that's what I'm going to experience.
Absolutely.
We're not the same. I'm a monster. let me stop. But
absolutely true. Absolutely true.
So you gotta be careful. It's all lesson learned. You got to learn from it and teach people how to learn from it. But at the same time, you don't want to make sure you project that onto somebody else, because that could actually stunt people's growth. Sometimes you teach somebody something and you can actually discourage them when you show them all this. So let's just be careful with that. And that's for other people out there who also mentor and tutor people. Also, when you talk to people, make sure they're also aware of, okay, this is just my experience. Yours might be different, and this is how you could navigate. Any day you have to come to a solution, not just gloom, do
Yep.
That's a big solution.
So good point. So the point of us creating this content obviously is to know what to watch out for in the marketplace. People ask me all the time in real estate, when's the right time to buy? I think it's always the right time to buy. Right? I think it's always the right time to buy. In other words,
it's a matter of where. It's just a matter of where. They can't just say when. You gotta say where.
Yeah, it's where.
It's always the right time to buy. Yeah, but now you gotta find the location. So that's the next
location, your numbers. What do you buy? Knowledge, education, educating yourself about what you buy. Right? It's always the right time. As long as there are human beings here,
it's always a good deal out there. Sometimes more, sometimes less, but they're always good deals if you look.
Yeah, exactly. So that's to negate any amount of fear I could possibly in this episode maybe unknowingly project out there. Is really about knowledge, and that's the whole point of us doing this series.
Educate yourself, exactly. Listen to what we're telling you. If you ask questions, throw them our way. We have experience in several different ways. We'll give you our feedback. So now to go back about these big companies, some of it I think is regulation. Regulations are really becoming stringent on a lot of these big companies. Even sometimes you see happen with even like hedge funds. They're trying to discontinue some of the so-called loopholes, which are not really loopholes, long-term capital gains. But now let me go back to what it is. Right, Tooks, where you at right now?
I'm at home.
Where am I right now?
At home.
Exactly. I think a big part of it right now is that we're coming to a world where everybody could do everything from home. People want to work from home. Entrepreneur, you want to have that freedom of doing whatever you want. At least I want to. I'm pretty sure most people want to. But I'm saying technology has also helped people to also work from home. Even people who work a 9-to-5 job, sometimes they're able to work from home now. And people also want to be able to, guess what? Do their grocery shopping at home, right? They don't want to go to the freaking mall. A lot of the big malls are going out of style because nobody wants to go to the mall as much as they used to, right? Nobody wants to go to Toys R Us as much as they used to. So my point is technology is a big part of it. At the same time, kids don't necessarily want to play with Barbie dolls and Ken Barbies and they buy a Toys R Us anymore. What do they want to play with now? They want to play with apps on their phone. again, it's technology. So I think that what we're seeing is a big revolution in technology that's affecting the way business is being done.
Yeah, absolutely. And I saw that a long time ago. The commercial real estate tanked at one point because of that. Because people don't. I mean, there's a lot more remote jobs, even jobs, than it's ever been, and it's going to continue to increase.
It's going to increase. You're right.
And it's not a matter of, oh, they hate people. No, it's called resource management. If I could run $1 million, a couple of $1 million businesses from one room, and I can have about 20 employees scattered all over the world, in Thailand, in what do you call it, in India. I can. There's this other Philippines, right? I can literally hire people, legitimately hire people, put them on the payroll.
Let's not forget, even Nigeria, because we're Nigerian. Even Nigeria.
Yeah, even Nigeria.
I know someone who actually does that. I find it so good because I like the concept. And what you also do something. He will train somebody in Nigeria online, like this. He'll train them on how to do it. Whether it's run his YouTube account or run his Instagram account, we'll train them on how to do it, and he'll pay them monthly. Now, what he's paying them monthly might not be as much as what he'll pay somebody here at all. But it's going it's a long way for that person in the dollar to naira conversion. So it's like, it's a global phenomenon, man.
And going back to the billion-dollar companies that are going under, a lot of them is because once they get to a certain height, they really can't see what's going on in the grassroots. They can't. They try.
It's possible to be too big.
Yes, you can be too big. You can be too big, and you can grow too fast. And that's real. You can be big, you can be too big, you can grow too fast, and there's nobody that's immune against like a shutdown. You just spoke about regulation. Regulation is a real deal. Especially if you're operating in a developed country.
One of the people I feel, and I think a big part of I think it's you being too big could be a problem too in terms of business. But when you think about it, I feel like it is possible to still do that, but you have to have so many different layers and different people micromanaging so many different people. Walmart, for example, I don't know how they're still doing it. They're freaking huge. And people still go to Walmart all the time. It's still working. Let's see what happens. Let's see what happens.
What did you know? Did you know Walmart shut down some Sam Clubs? Did you know that?
They have. I know they did that, but that's Sam's Club, yeah.
Right.
But Walmart itself is still around.
But there's a reason why they're shutting down Sam's Club. The primary reason typically is you're not productive. This one finger, you're not productive. We'll cut you off so we can add resources to where it's being productive. But not typically, but sometimes that's the beginning of the downfall of certain empires.
Exactly. That's what I said. You know what? Let's watch. Let's see what happens, because it might happen slowly, and maybe next 2 years, 3 years, we'll have a different conversation because everybody wants to do everything online.
Right.
When I order food now, what's the time? One of the time people say, "Oh, you want to get food?" Okay, before phone, you could order a food online. I mean, you could order food over the phone, but now everything's online. You have Grubhub, you have
grocery.
Apps.
I ordered grocery last week.
We were just talking about that, right? About people do it all the time. So all these stores that we're seeing now, I think as generations pass, let's say our generation gets older, we're so used to doing everything online. A lot of these shopping places and whatever are people who are used to doing that for a long time, right? Well, I think they're gonna go out of style very soon.
So I think it's safe. I think we can safely say it's gonna get worse, but it's also gonna get better. You know what I mean?
Well, but at the end of it, it's what we want, because their business is all about demand and supply. Demand and the customers demand, and what the customers demand is, I don't want to go to the movies anymore. Movie theaters also shutting down. I want to Netflix and chill.
Especially with all these shootings, I can tell you right now, my wife don't go to the movies because of the shootings at public places where there's a lot of people. And there's a lot of people that have that phobia out there right now.
That's another thing, security.
Security.
Crazy world we're living.
So that's security, that thing right there, in combination with people don't have to, it's just a bad combination. And that means billions of dollars for a lot of companies. And that's something that I feel like
I think companies are smart. If a company is smart, and we've seen them, if they're smart enough to start hedging. And when I say hedging, I mean taking your business out of the physical realm and into the online realm, hedging that way. The sooner they start doing that, the better you can protect yourself down the line. If you do that transition too late, then you're gonna find yourself going out of business, because now you're trying to move too quickly to take all your resources from in stores to online. Or if you start making that transition early, slowly moving over from, like, say 80 to 20% ratio. Now you don't. I'm gonna say 80 to 20% ratio. I mean like 80% in the store, 20% online. Now you're gonna move it from 80% online, 20% in the store, because now you see the demand. The consumer wants it differently. We don't want to, people. Sometimes I hate mailing shit. I don't like going to the mail room to mail shit. Post office. That's just annoying. So and I know you don't have to do that anymore. So they're just trying to meet the demands of the people.
Yeah.
Because that wants to be everyone's now fast, efficient. This is the time we live in, high frequency time.
Efficiency. It's got to be easier, faster, simpler. It's got to be. You got to pay attention to that, because that's that. And it didn't just start. People always act like that just started. No, it's always been there. It's just the nature of mankind. You can count the number of cars on the streets of Newark in one finger in any moment in time in 1906. That's a fact. So not only we can say, oh yeah, technology is nice, things are moving forward. We can say that, right? That's all cute and dandy until you remember that a bunch of people lost their jobs when it comes to fixing horse carriages, right? When it comes to racing those things, right? And when it comes to the billion-dollar industry that was backing what they used to do before that, and then all of a sudden those things disappeared.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Sometimes it's not always a company did bad or they did something wrongly. It's not always, oh, they made the wrong move. It's not always that. These things are not straight up science.
It's not that they made the wrong move. It's like they did make the move in time. So you could be
timing.
Yeah. You didn't make the wrong move. Oh, we're doing this. Oh, why are you doing it? Because that's how we've always done it. It works. That's the worst thing someone could ever say. Because we do this because that is how we've always done it. But guess what? Times are always changing. Things are always moving.
Time are always changing.
You gotta keep up. So if you're doing things the way you've always done it for the past 100 years, you're gonna find yourself obsolete. You're gonna find that your company cannot keep up with other companies, because other companies who stay on the cutting edge and see what's going on and are able to adapt. Because if you don't adapt, guess what? You get extinct.
Right.
And that's what you gotta do.
Easily like that. So that's why I feel like when Facebook was buying Instagram, was buying WhatsApp, I think it was their way of trying to stay relevant. If Facebook did not buy Instagram and WhatsApp,
that was a smart ass move. That's what I'm talking about.
They were that close to being a MySpace.
Yes, because they would have been stuck in that one realm. But now they've covered, even when I remember I sent you that video on when grilling Zuckerberg hanging his feet over the fire. But I guess he was a little bit. He answered most of the questions okay, but at the end of the day, you can see that
what happened? They try to prepare him. I haven't watched it. They always try to prepare him. You could tell that somebody tried to prepare him for those questions.
Yes, exactly.
Right. But I think it's covered a lot of bases. And I think he's a smart guy. And I think, like I said, I've been dealing with the ads platform since 2000 and God knows, 10, 11. So I know that there's a lot of restriction already in place. And I know that they are always still vulnerable and still, they have this big liability of all these people using the system. I mean, billions of people using that system. That's a liability that you have to always pay attention to. We could look at his money all day long and be happy for him. He's $76 billion worth. Right?
You can see that you know how much money he had. Like they asked him, "Do you think this is a do you think you have a monopoly?" You can see he was lying on some of the stuff. But it's like it doesn't feel that way.
It doesn't feel that way.
but the truth is, it is kind of like a monopoly. I mean, I'm not mad at WhatsApp. He bought them. And that's what a smart company does. They acquire things. So I think you get to the point where the government might be able to be scared, because now this is something that they might not be able to control or regulate the way they want to. Because now it's not like regulating something physical. You're trying to regulate an online space. It's not the same. It's going to be a lot harder to do because you need to use what technology. Is your technology from the government going to be more advanced than you have in Silicon Valley? Yeah, not necessarily. You got to think about those things.
Yeah. So I think
he knows what he's doing.
Yeah. The digital space in general, it used to be quote unquote intangible product, right? But now it controls pretty much the whole sense of what you call mankind. So it becomes tangible by default, and now you have to create new laws, new regulation. The
problem is enforcing them. That's the problem is really trying to enforce them.
Right. So I was trying to prepare. I wanted to promote something on Craigslist and Backpage, And when I open Backpage this afternoon, guess what happened to Backpage? It's blank.
You know what Facebook should do? Facebook should go with Bitcoin, right? And go on the blockchain system and say fuck the government and do what the fuck they want. That's what they should do.
Well, it can't really say that because, like, there are people that are haters, like millions of them, that actually use Facebook, and they are out there to try to pull Facebook down.
Of course. I think I was right about what I said because Twitter is on it, yo. I was right about what I said. Remember what I said last time, but I think what Twitter was doing. I'm a little bit more sure that Twitter.
I didn't get that. That what?
Remember what I said last time about Twitter? I think Twitter started this hashtag.
Twitter sent me an email.
He started a hashtag with delete your Facebook account. So I think Twitter is on it. After watching what I saw there with Twitter and the rest of things during the.
Well, Twitter is full of shit. You know why I said that? I think I tried to use their platform one time for advertising, but then the numbers were ridiculous. I was like, I'm not gonna worry about this because I was live on Facebook. Like I'm good on YouTube or Google AdWords and Facebook. I just shut it off. So I never used it. So they sent me a random email like 2-3 days ago that they have suspended my account for against guideline, my advertising account, not the account itself.
It's because of Facebook.
And I'm like, why? I don't even use it, you dumbass. But yeah, Twitter is.
They did that on purpose. Yeah, they did that on purpose.
Why?
For two reasons. One, to show the government that hey, Facebook is fucking up. But look at us. Look at us with our regulation. Second reason is to remind you that you have a Twitter account for ads, so you could go back there and say, since Facebook is under fire, let me see what's going on my Twitter account so I can promote that way. They're smart. It's a double play you're trying to do right there. One is to make sure the government that they're adhering to the guidelines and show the user like you that you still have a Twitter account that you can do your ads on. And guess what? On my Facebook, we are following the guidelines. You're safe with us.
I mean, thinking about it right now, it could be their way of trying to get me on there and log in and see if I want to advertise too.
That's what I just said. Yeah.
All right. So maybe, but I just thought like blah, I think Facebook has been. What they did their slap very early, like they slapped a bunch of people that are not obeying the guidelines, and they still do that. You saw the video I sent you because of an arrow. Because of an arrow, they shut down my ads. Did you get a chance to watch that video?
I didn't see it.
Okay, they essentially
send it to me where on WhatsApp or what?
No, it's on my channel. I can send it to
you. Send it to me. I'll check it out.
Yeah, it's pretty much I have an arrow, like a rough arrow that just does this on my ad. That means point and click. It's pointing to the things they need to do.
Yeah. Like alert them. Yeah.
They shut the ads has been running. Ads has already spent a couple of $100, but they shut it. They sent me an email, disapproved it, and said, when I go in there, it says I have to remove the arrow. Like anything.
You know what? It's better than them shutting down your page because Facebook is capable of that bullshit. You know that. You know that. And that's why I'm a little bit like, damn, because I feel like Facebook is already kind of strict, right? They've been really strict with it before like this grew up to where it is. They've been really strict with the whole ad thing. So like when I saw these guys come down so hard on Zuckerberg, I'm like, first of all, I could tell these guys are so old, they don't even use Facebook.
Right.
They don't use Facebook. They probably just got told something by their secretary and they just vomited the same information back to asking questions. So like I said, enough people use it. And if you're an advanced Facebook user, like me or you, like how you do your Facebook stuff, right? And you will know that Facebook has been on it. They've been on it with the ads. They'll shut down accounts for no reason. People get mad.
All of this is formalities. All of
Facebook doesn't play with that stuff. It just happens to be the fact that recently people are able to exploit Facebook and do bad stuff with it. That's why. But Facebook has been on it even before the government was like breathing down the throat. They've tried. I'll give them that, to be honest. And they will piss me off a couple of times with their very strict ass policies. So
now I'll tell you what kind of company is very difficult to pull down from a throne. Kind of like how you pull Lehman Brothers down. And by the way, Macy's is hanging off of a thread too. The Bear Stearns.
Who the coolest monkey in the jungle? Who was that?
That's H&M. That's a nobody. Those one that can shut down.
Yeah.
Regulation.
Fuck them. Shut those motherfuckers down now.
with one snap like that, Trump can shut any one of those ones down. But the companies that are very hard to shut down are companies that understand media. They control their image out there. They're also a media house by themselves, and even yellowpages.com should be completely done. but because it's such a powerful media thing that people go to look for information, it's very hard. I was talking to a gentleman yesterday when the market shut down in 2008. He was also in real estate since 1996. But when the market shut down, everybody kind of like lost their business in 2008. He also lost his business. So he went to start becoming a salesperson for YP.com.
He lost
And
his
then
business. What was he doing?
broker, investor, all of the above. He's still this guy is still he's good now. He's part of the guys behind flipnj.com.
Oh, those guys are killing it.
Yeah, they're killing it now. So, but you know, for a few years they all disappeared into the woods. So he's back in the business now. So, so he was saying he became a salesperson for YP.com, and they were selling website packages. Full page spread on the yellow book packages. And then when they were trying to move on to the new model of business, because nobody picks up the yellow book from the door anymore, right? So they were trying to go into the new model, which is what we now know as YP.com, right? It was yellow books. When they were trying to do that, they started to sell SEO packages at $10,000-$15,000 to companies. So they will sell those things, but they're not really delivering, right? So I know from experience that no company is going to charge you $15,000 one time and do your SEO. That's too much work. They just took your money. That's all that is. SEO is something you got to pay for over and over, maybe $1,500 a month, like that. And there's a reason why people keep working for you, because you're paying them monthly, not a one time, right? So when he said that, I was like, So there are companies that try to go into the new model of doing things, right? But it's still just not their thing. It's not what they know. And sometimes they bring the wrong mindset into a new era. And eventually all you're doing is just you're pushing your your trouble into the future. That's all you're doing. Eventually the whole thing is just gonna collapse. So I would say that YP.com still exists right now because it's on that platform called media, right? It's essentially people go there for information. So if your company has an element of that, what we say these days, we call them content. If you have content, you have powerful content out there, and you control the conversation essentially about your company and your industry. If you control the conversation about your company and the industry out there, you have I feel like you have based on my website, you have a better grip on the marketplace, because at the end of the day, money comes from people. So when money stops flowing, when it stops flowing to your company, chances are because you have literally underestimated the power of the people. You haven't listened to the people. You haven't listened to how people respond to what they consume. That's what it all comes down to. And I feel Lehman Brothers, right? The subprime loans, they pretty much all of them collapsed on the subprime loan. If they were listening enough, they would know way before the market knew that subprime loan is just the devil, and they should have shut that down long time
ago. They did not care. The regulations were not in place. People were just making all kinds of crazy money, and they were fine with making that money, because when everyone lost all their shit, they already had made a good shit ton of money. And when people started losing money, guess what happened to those guys who made all that money? They made more money too, because they knew what the fuck was going on. So they didn't give a shit. That's what happened. They knew they're hoping for bailouts and whatever, but say, you know what, I'd rather take this cash now and say, fuck it, if this thing ships,
Yeah. So that's what's going on. I think this message, particularly the reason why I love this topic, is because I feel like it goes to like new entrepreneurs in general. And even any type of entrepreneur, but mostly new people. We can put a 1 + 1 together to equals to 2. There are forces in the market, unfortunately, that don't obey those things always. So that means it's not like they don't obey it, but when you're not listening to the market, like when you're not listening to what the market has to say, that those numbers are going to be defiled, because you're just not going to see it coming. And a lot of times, like for example, if you're making all this money, you're $1 billion company, right? There's a certain, you're human. As long as you're human, right? There's a certain level of arrogance that come with that. Like you're untouchable, you're invisible, right? And a lot of those companies carry that, And this guy mentioned it in his book again too, because his whole company collapsed after like having a ton of employees. The whole company collapsed. He had to start all over again.
The thing is, no matter how successful you are, no matter how cocky or confident you are, whatever, that's all cool because you do need that. But you have to find a way. You have to find something that always humbles you. You have to find a way of humbling yourself.
Keep you grounded.
You know?
Yeah, gotta keep you grounded. Yeah.
For me, that's religion, and that's God. Because my head is really big. You know, I have a really big head. But for me, it's religion, and that's
you don't have to tell me that you have a big head. I can see. but go ahead.
But for me, that's religion, and that's God. So everyone out there, no matter how big you get, whatever, you want to always have something to keep you grounded and make you remember. Okay, you know what? I'm human. I make mistakes, and you know that way, you always keep a level head, and not get ahead of yourself. Because sometimes people begin to think that okay, they forget how they got there. If you make money, you know, make money, you know how you get there. You have to make sure you keep that original thing that you're using to get there. Because some people, after a while, they forget how they got there. They start thinking that they didn't get there using strategy, being smart, and obviously luck, blessings, whatever you want to call it. They start thinking that everything they touch turns to gold. But it's not you. It's not necessarily what you do touch to gold. It is the fundamentals.
Yeah.
So people forget fundamentals. They start thinking, oh, and sometimes it works that way, almost in a way. Like when I say it works that way, almost in a way, let me give an example. If Warren Buffett goes tomorrow on TV, and that's when he reaches like a certain level and says, "I'm buying this stock," I say this stock is great. It's gonna go up. Why? Because he's spoken it, and other people are gonna want to jump on it because he said it. So that happens also. But even then, you can't get carried away because then you're gonna mess around and fuck up your credibility. So what I'm trying to say at the end, you have to have something that actually brings you grounded and keep you humble, no matter how successful, cocky, or confident you want to be. It has to be that one thing that always keeps you okay. This are my fundamentals. This is who I am. And I'm not gonna let the hype of other people's words or whatever, because some people could blow up your head and say, "Oh yeah, blah, blah, blah," you know, up or down. But if you stay grounded, you don't let what people say phase you. You don't let people's praises to blow your head up phase you. You don't let people's slight or rude remarks phase you either, because that doesn't make you who you are. You are
that's an awesome angle into it, and I like what you just brought into, because what keeps me grounded, okay, you said God keeps you grounded. I was raised in church, and I was raised with the extreme, the whatever you can think of extreme of that is, like Pentecostal in Ondo State. Just think of that, okay? That's how I was raised. So because of that, I lost a little bit of respect for, and I saw the hypocrisy in that, right? I lost a little bit of respect for the whole sense of what they called God for us, right? I have a newly redefined sense of that now, right? What keeps me grounded today is what matters. 10 years ago, I definitely did not have that. What could have been that would be religion, but again, I lost some level of respect for that. What keeps me grounded today is my experience and the market. You know, if you're not grounded, so if you're starting fresh, right? If you're starting off, I think it's a beautiful thing when you said God, right? If you can tap into that God and actually find the meaning of God and understand that and make that a core of you, that will be a beautiful thing. And if you don't, there's one more thing that will keep you grounded, and I think it's a representation of God, the market. You know, they are the people we serve at the end of the day in any business you're in, right? And one day they can love you, right? They are all over your product, and you think it's you. You just mentioned everything you touch turned to gold, right? And you really think it's you. No, it's the market that's fucking with you. Guess who can humble you? One day they're gonna move on to something else, because that's gonna get into your head naturally if you don't have God. You see what I'm saying? That's gonna get into the head.
Yeah, and the reason why I'm saying that too is, like, you see some people, like, this is a little segue. I don't go to.
It's a nice segue though.
Too far off topic. Yeah. You have Nicki Minaj. You have Cardi B, right? Nicki Minaj recently put out a new single,
right?
Coming for Cardi B. What I'm trying to make is 4 or 5 years ago, Nicki Minaj was the hottest female artist, possibly the hottest female rap artist ever. She was breaking boundaries. Lil Kim couldn't see her. She didn't pay.
I think the only thing she couldn't touch is Beyonce.
Yeah, she was doing that thing. She was killing it. Then Cardi B came in here. Cardi. Yep. And guess what everyone said? Everyone said, "Oh, Nicki who? Cardi B." Yep. So if Nicki Minaj was dumb enough, and it happens to be, to believe the hype that people feed you. I'm not saying, when I was saying that, there's not a reason why people are feeding that hype. Yeah, it's probably because you're good, but don't let that make you who you are.
Yep.
Because your value is not determined by what other people's
Your
opinion.
value gotta be something else.
Your value is solid. Your value is what your value. So if you think, hey, I'm Mr. 10 out of 10, then guess what? You're Mr. fucking 10 out of 10. It's not determined by if somebody else says you're 10 out of 10, or someone says, oh, you're 2, whatever. You're who the fuck you say you are, who you believe you are. You're what you do. You know.
So your value cannot be what the market is making you to be in that moment in time, because that comes and go.
Exactly.
So you have to really make sure you define yourself. And in my opinion, I still think, it's better to define it in God. I believe in that, because
that's why me, my own. I will say, oh, I'm self-made, self-paid. I don't say I'm self-made, self-paid. I say I put God first. I say I'm God-made, self-paid. Even though it's the same concept, it's self-made, self-paid. I say I'm God-made and I'm self-paid, because at the end of the day, I didn't make myself. God did. That's how I see it.
Well, another empire that's coming down in Nigeria. This is a segue. Okay, it's a little bit off topic, but I think it's important to point out here, because we're talking about multi-billion dollars company coming down, right? We're talking about people that feel invincible, or entities that feel invincible coming down, and that has been happening. Roman Empire, right? Right. That's been happening since the beginning of mankind.
The unsinkable ship.
Yeah. So, the Nigeria Pentecostal religion setting, they don't know what's coming for them. That in combination with the Nigeria godfathers of government, right? Like, if you want to run for government in Nigeria right now, there are certain godfathers you have to go bow down to first, right? But again, the people, they're always right. Sometimes they have to use revolution. They have to use war. They've used war in the past, right? To fight, to redeem themselves, to fight for freedom for themselves. But they always have the right of the way at the end of the day. It may linger. You may think you're powerful, but honestly, the longer you think you're powerful, or the more powerful you are, the worse your shame is gonna be, honestly. And that's why I keep saying you must bring it back to basics, which is whatever it is that your company does, whatever it is that your empire does, who is it supposed to serve? And if you lose focus of that, like for example, real estate, 2004, 2005, you selling all the subprime loans and selling $500,000 homes that only bring in $2,500 in a monthly what do you call it, net operating income, right? You know that's not going to work long term. You know that, right?
But they don't care. The person that buying that is not that stupid. True. People will do that. They get their money up front.
But guess what?
You get the money up front. Bam. Let's get the next one. Bam.
Let me use your language. And I don't mean people are stupid, but people are always going to be stupid, because when they see something on the pedestal, they tend to obey to that, and they keep listening until there's a revolution. People always like that, because people follow people, and people are believing in that until one day they just hungry, right? And they say, you know what? This doesn't make sense. Well, it didn't make sense 10 years ago. You just woke up. That's people. That's the marketplace. It takes them a minute to see that they're being screwed in their butt. Okay?
It wasn't just that. They realized they're getting screwed when all of a sudden, because at the end of the day, if you're a loan originator, right, you're making a loan for somebody, you want to make sure they're qualified. You want to make sure that but in this time, the renters were so loose, they didn't give a shit. They'll give mortgage to people,
because that money
to people's dogs, whatever. Exactly, and these guys are making a shit ton of money, just taking the money up front. So at the end of the day, guess what? You give it a $1 million loan to somebody who makes $20,000 a year. Let's give an example, right? And all of a sudden, this person can't afford to make payments on that loan. Then what happens? It gets foreclosure, right? Yeah, and when that happens over a big amount of volume, then you start seeing trouble, because not just one person. It becomes thousands of people, millions of people going through that, and it's an issue. Then you affect the whole economy,
Yeah, exactly. So I'm in a place where, partly I'll blame it on experience. I think it's a good experience to have, because it's earlier on in my lifetime. Thank God. But I'm in a place where I can see. Somebody said 2 families. Somebody sold it in Ironbound for $600,000. I said, Okay, I don't think two family in Ironbound is worth $600,000. I don't care. You know what I mean?
It might not
Because
be. It might not be. Yeah, I see. Keep going. I see where you're going with it.
yeah, two family house in
Mhm.
Ironbound Newark, right? Not Forest Hill, not in the not in the neighborhood where people just pay for it, right? I'm talking about where somebody is trying to get income out of it. That doesn't make any sense, you know, number wise, right? It doesn't make any sense. So somebody is speculating. Well, it doesn't matter. I
That,
don't even
that's, that's,
care.
that's, that's speculation. What I think it is now that's a good example, right? And I agree with you.
Mhm.
Would I ever pay that for a two-family house in Ironbound right now? Hell the fuck no. But now I can tell you why someone might have done it. Someone may have done it because maybe they plan on living there, right? They probably think it's going to be the new New York. So now I think it's right now. So right now it could be a bad investment. But what they're buying, right? I think they're buying, and which is part of what real estate value comes from. They're
Mhm.
buying the future. They're investing in the future of that place.
Well,
They think like
not
so,
all the way.
so right now, I think that Ironbound has a high premium to pay for a two-family in Ironbound. I agree. But guess what? You know how real estate works? Once they see that becomes a comp. That shows that, oh, the market is going up, right? That could be the first
Right.
person, that first outlier that starts making the market move up. The next thing you know, other two families in Ironbound start selling for 400, 500. You know, they start
Right.
moving up, and it slowly goes that way. So right now, at this point, yeah, I
Right.
think that's definitely on the higher end. But maybe 2, 4, 5 years from now, that could be almost like a medium
Well,
price.
it was there in 2005, and we know the end of that story. Right? We know the end of that story, but doesn't mean it can't get there. Like you said,
No, it could get there. It could be more, and I think
right,
that's the difference. I think New York is on the up and
right.
up.
People may want, like you said,
Because New York City is becoming so congested. You know,
right.
people have to spill out, and they spill it out into Newark.
No, Newark is definitely on the up.
Into Jersey City, yeah. So that's why. But
Right.
I do agree with that. That's a high premium to pay. I would never pay that price as an investor.
I hope not. But you know, obvious. These are those reasons you gave why it could be seen are all legitimate. People could want to live in there. People are speculating. That's value still. It's still value. Doesn't mean it's not value. Even if speculating, right? So yeah. But for somebody who we were talking to earlier, right? Who was asking, is this the right time to buy? It's always the right time to buy. But those are the kind of like the special details to listen to that the regular mind may not necessarily know, right? Which is I was talking about the stupid thing, right? Like people are stupid. People are not necessarily stupid. People are market. And sometimes if your intelligence level as what a market is a little bit beyond normal, you may look at that as stupid. It's not necessarily people following a certain religion and following a guy into the middle of nowhere in Caribbeans and then drinking water that they die because they're going to heaven. They're not necessarily stupid. That tells you how powerful the mind is. You know what I mean? And that happened for real, right? You know that story, right? Yeah. So that happened for real. But that's also a testament to my point that don't feel like you're invincible, because if you make some money, you may forget yourself in the middle of nowhere. We're talking about getting grounded, making sure you keep yourself grounded. You may forget yourself, you may forget your values, right? And before you know it, everything that's pumping you up, like what it is the market in time for Nicki Minaj at the time. Your value could just say that person that's giving value will say no anymore, because there's no such thing as value without a market.
Yeah, the reason why I brought Nicki Minaj up is because that her latest song that she brought out, which was probably within the past 24 hours or so recently, was a diss track now to Cardi B, and that's because guess what? The market pumped up and dumped up, pump and dump. It's like a stock. So it's like a stock thinking, oh wow,
it's like
a stock feeling that is a certain value because a whole bunch of people bought that stock. You buy. That's what they call pump and dump. For those who don't know,
yeah.
So a bunch of us go buy a stock, we buy, and move the price up, and we sell and we get out. Nicki Minaj was that stock. She got bought up, blah. She felt like she had that value, and it pulled everything from underneath her, and she fell back down. And now she's feeling like she needs to go ahead and attack Cardi B. Cardi B didn't do nothing to you. Cardi B do nothing to you.
Yeah. So yeah, I do think. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
I do think it's very related. It's the same behavior compared to those billion-dollar companies, compared to our own little self here, compared to among your peers, right? We're talking about comps. You know, the kind of people you surround yourself with. You don't want to be smarter person. Like that's something I struggle with, by the way. I don't want to be this. I don't want to be the smartest person in any room I'm in. I struggle with that, like real deal. Like I need more smarter and more to be around more and smarter people, that I can learn
I
from.
hear you.
You
Yeah,
know,
that's part of why I made the money room so that we could be around people who can all learn from. So
have some kind of input, right?
I might be smarter than you, so someone in this way. They might know something in this way. We all
Certain
contribute.
aspects, right?
Also, at the end of the day, there's not to brag, but when one gets to a certain level, and you want just soaking up knowledge. Yeah, there is a strong chance that you might be the smartest person in the room, but there's always something to learn from somebody else in a different aspect. So
yeah, there is.
I know so much about this. I know so much about real estate, blah blah. Someone else might be able to educate me on something else I did not know.
Right.
Something else. So it's always, so no matter how smart you might think you are, you have some more knowledge, you might be able to learn a different aspect and add to your portfolio of knowledge from somebody else, because they might know something in a different industry that you don't really know that well. So
right. It's just a very easy way to set yourself up for failure when you don't surround yourself with smarter people. When it comes to a particular, obviously we're talking business now, right? When it comes to, like, in the business world, entrepreneurship, real estate, equities, buying, trading, and stuff like that, right? Is you get to a point you almost feel like you plateau, like, okay, I need something new, right? And it's
and the best way to do that too, let's go back to technology, because as you said, and it's not to be to brag or whatever. I find myself struggling with that a little bit, but what I do is I like to talk to people and teach people stuff, like how we're doing right now. The more you talk about stuff, when you teach somebody something, that also makes it ingrained in you even more. So you as you're teaching them, you're learning that thing even more. You might even click, a light bulb might go off on something you didn't even think of before. Just the fact that you're teaching it. That's one thing. Another thing is technology, online. You could go on YouTube, you could learn stuff. There's a vast level of knowledge. So even if you find something fast, in the room every now and then, and that happens.
This audible.com.
Go and learn from these other people who are smart, who are out there, who have done these things, who are learning these things, who can teach you these things, and then you can bring that knowledge and teach people. Now, the more you teach people this new knowledge you just learned, the more that new knowledge gets ingrained in your brain, and you can now apply it to real life. And, it's a vicious, beautiful cycle that just keeps on going of knowledge and growth.
Absolutely. Yeah. So that was a good one. It's a good one. I think a lot more companies are coming down, and that's sad to know. But I think that means for an average person should brace tight on their job. I'm not the only one that should brace tight on my advertising. People that have a job should also brace tight, because one day they may tell you that, hey, we're rolling everything in your department into another department. That
goes back to our other episode about 9 to 5 versus entrepreneurship. And it was pretty clear. One thing that we said is entrepreneurship. People say it's risky, but guess what? Your 9 to 5 job is just as risky. They could lay everybody off the next day. But just to add to that, to be more on track with this episode, the key I want everyone to take away from this is adaptability. You gotta be able to adapt. If you cannot evolve, you get extinct. And that's what
all day long.
You gotta be on the cutting edge of what's going on. If you're on the cutting edge of what's going on, you're able to adapt in time. Say I see a change coming in the industry. I say, okay, solar panels and what's up right now? I need to shift in this way. Oh, everyone wants to get their stuff online now and shift in this way. The quicker you are to adapt, the quicker you are to survive, and the more you can actually even grow as a company. Because now you're meeting the demand that your competitors are not even meeting. If I see that everyone likes stuff online, and all my competitors still have all these stores that they expect people to go to, and I'm quick to make that shift, I could have been number 5 out of all the companies. I might move up to number 2, number 1, just by because we're all serving the same customers. Just by moving my strategy, I'm moving from 80% online in store and 20% online to 80% online and 20% in store. I'm meeting demands that of all our customers that we're all serving. I might go from number 8 to number 1, number 8 to number 2, or number 1, whatever it is, just because I've now adapted to meet the demands of our customers. So you have to be able to adapt, or you go extinct. Just like Easy Pass, people who are Easy Pass boots, just to touch on that real quick, as an example, people got laid off. But if you are smart and you're damn, I'm seeing this Easy Pass boot right now, and I see that before, when I started working here, it was nothing but people like me sitting here. Then now there are 2 Easy Passes, 3 Easy Passes, 4, 5. Guess what, motherfucker? Wake the fuck up and get some new skills. Do something and move somewhere else.
Stop whining about it. They took away taxi drivers in New York City still whining about Uber.
About Uber. So that's what I'm saying. You got to peak the game. I know what to do. If you're smart, you can even invest in it. Use that knowledge. Oh, I see Uber is coming up. Guess what? And a taxi driver, you might be the first to notice how big Uber is, because other people who are consumers might not notice. Guess what? You go buy a shit ton of Uber stuff.
There's so many. Sorry to stay on Uber for a second. There's so many creative things you can do with Uber. and make 10 times the money you can possibly make.
I was about to go there too. So even a smart taxi driver, you're one of the first people to actually react to the market, because you can see the market is affecting you directly. Other consumers and people who are investors like me and Tooks and everybody else here hasn't ever noticed that. Well, you're a taxi driver, you're sitting there and you can see that, damn, this Uber thing is becoming a problem. It's becoming a problem, meaning that for you, maybe it's becoming something good for somebody else. So
it's an opportunity.
So how do you hedge? How do you hedge against that? You can either go buy a shit ton of Uber stock, just as an example, because you know in the money room here. Or another way you can also do that is say, guess what? This Uber thing, I could buy like 3 or 4 cars and rent them out for Uber drivers. So while you're still driving your taxi, you're making money off of Uber. And now
you can refer people. You can start creating content around it and have people use your referral. If you can expand, if your brain is stuck, I'm not talking to you if your brain is stuck. I'm talking to you if your brain has room to expand. Okay?
And
if you watch YouTube videos, that means you can do it.
Timing is key. If you're watching this video, you could do it. So timing is key at the end of the day, and be able to adapt. You know, peep stuff early, adapt. Peep stuff early, adapt. You know, it's like imagine we're about to race, right? On your marks, get set, and before they say go, someone starts running. They have an edge. Why? Because they saw it coming before the other person saw it coming. That's it, right? Timing
is everything, man. And more has been happening. I feel like it's been happening. Like I stopped saying technology, because yes, it's technology, but technology has been since the beginning of mankind. Since the first time we decided not to use stones to start fire anymore. That's technology. That's technology.
Of course it is. But that same technology is still what we use today in different ways. It's just a way.
Some last longer, right?
It's just way more advanced. Way more advanced.
Yeah.
You know. So that's what I mean. That we'll see on the cutting edge of stuff. But all right, you know, that's it for today. If you have any questions, go ahead and ask us. Comment, like, subscribe. You know, welcome to the Money Room, and we'll see you next time. Peace.
Peace.